Dr. Pinnington, as the forensic toxicologist assigned to this case, what was your role in the scheme of things?
To ascertain, given the suspicious circumstances surrounding the victim's death, whether any toxic substances were to be found in the corpse.
And what was the result of your investigation?
I found traces of dinitrophenols in the victim's liver.
And could you tell the court, please, just what these dinitrophenols are?
Yes, they're a highly poisonous chemical group, most commonly found in rather outdated brands of weed killer.
Weed killer?
Yes.
And had these dinitrophenols arrived in Trevor Jordash's body posthumously?
No, they were absorbed at most a couple of days before his death.
But although this rather uncommon weed killer was not directly responsible for Trevor Jordash's death, was there enough of it present in his body to put his life in grave danger?
Well, it's hard to be precise so far after the event, but it must have been borderline.
So the levels administered could have killed a weaker man?
Yes.
Thank you. No further questions. Please, stay there.
Dr. Pinnington, on average, how much weed killer containing dinitrophenols would it take to kill a person?
1 gram of the substance. Say about a teaspoonful would be in the fatal range.
Not a lot, then.
No.
So, as attempted poisonings go, how would you rate the defendant's efforts?
Well, not too hot, really.
Would you go so far as to say that they were incompetent?
Not far from it.
Hardly the work of a pair of aspiring Dr. Crippins.
No, not really.
Thank you very much.
And Dr. Stevens, based on your examination of the forensic evidence found in 10 Brookside Close, could you give us your account of what took place in the moment prior to and the period immediately after Trevor Jordash's death?
Well, judging by traces of blood and tissue found in the kitchen area, I'd say that was where the fatal wound was inflicted. He was then wrapped in plastic refuse sacks and dragged some yards into a garage cum extension on the side of the house.
And how do you know this to be the case?
Further traces of blood were found on the doorway to the extension and in the fibres of a carpet in there. We also matched traces of plastic in the carpet with the type of bin bag the body was later unearthed in.
And in each case, the blood and the tissue matched that of the corpse of Trevor Jordash?
Our DNA tests indicated this, yes.
And by your estimation, how long was Trevor Jordash's corpse left lying in the extension of number 10?
Very difficult to say, but very possibly a few days, maybe weeks.
By which time it would have been in a state of some decay.
Definitely.
Would it have smelt?
It would have reeked.
And so a concerted effort would have had to have been made to conceal such a foul odour from visitors.
I'll say.
So, would you describe the case in question as one of the more intriguing you've had to deal with in recent years, Doctor?
No. Apart from the time factor, it's all pretty routine, really.
So putting the evidence together didn't take an awful lot of detective work?
Well, none. It was everywhere.
Why was that?
I'm sorry, I'm not quite with the question.
My apologies. What I'm trying to say is, was the evidence, as you put it, everywhere, due in some part to the actions of Mrs. Jordash and her daughter in the events following the death of her husband?
Oh, definitely. I mean, if you want to get rid of someone properly, then there are a few rules worth following. A, don't stab the victim in your own kitchen, and B, don't have them lodging in your extension while you're deciding what to do with them.
In both cases, the point being that you would be leaving a rather obvious trail of evidence behind you.
Exactly.
So, compared with a vast array of, shall we say, more calculated attempts to dispose of bodies, which you must have dealt with in your long career, how would you say that Mrs. Jordash's efforts rated?
Well, it was hardly the crime of the century.
So the evidence could have been indicative of somebody in a deranged state of mind, blindly trying to cope with a chain of events far beyond her control.
Well, I suppose so, yes.
Detective Inspector Coburn, you were the officer in charge of the investigation into the murder of Trevor Jordash.
That's correct.
So while the gruesome task of recovering the corpse continued at number 10, your further investigation centered on the pursuit of Amanda and Elizabeth Jordash, who had, once the discovery of their crime seemed imminent, fled the country.
Yes.
And where did your search take you?
Well, we eventually tracked them down in the Republic of Ireland. They were spotted at various locations in Dún Laoghaire, Dublin and Wexford, where our colleagues in the Gardaí finally apprehended them.
After Mrs. Jordache and her daughter were arrested, they then underwent lengthy interviews with yourself over a period of how long?
3 days.
After spending a week on the run in a strange country.
Yes.
So tired, hungry, and traumatized, two women who never before had been subjected to police interrogation techniques.
My lord, Detective Inspector Coburn is employed by the Mersey police force, not the Gestapo.
Could you tone down your descriptive powers just a touch, Mr. Anderson?
My lord. Two women, never questioned at any great length by police before, gave an account of a series of events which in turn must have been among the most traumatic they'd experienced in a family history sadly blighted by such trauma.
If by that you mean they told us they murdered the husband, yes.
Well, you think there were no problems with the circumstances in which those statements were made?
No.
But we've all heard the tape recordings. Do you not think that both women at times sounded utterly distraught?
Not really, no.
I put it to you, Detective Inspector, that very little of the truth of what really happened in those weeks preceding Trevor Jordache's death can be gleaned from those interviews. That, in fact, they are the scrambled thoughts of two women, so psychologically and physically abused as to be literally frightened out of their wits. That, in fact, those interviews, as an adequate explanation of this whole tragic mess, are not worth the tape they were recorded on.
So, Constable, were you at all shocked when the truth of the defendant's actions finally came to light?
Gobsmacked. I mean, amazed.
And why was that?
Because I'd already known the defendants for some time.
In your capacity as a community policeman?
Well, that's the general idea of you, Bobby, on the beat. Get to meet the locals.
And under what circumstances did you get to meet Mrs. Jordache and Miss Jordache?
On routine police business.
Which was?
On the 12th of May, 1993, in connection with the disappearance of Mr. Trevor Jordache, who'd been declared missing by his sister, Miss Brenna Jordache.
And this date being some 5 days after Trevor Jordache's death at 10 Brookside Close.
So it seems, yes.
At a time when, by their own admission, the defendants had bagged up and stored his decomposing body in their extension.
Yes.
Were you given any indication that this was the case during your inquiries?
No.
But surely there must have been a considerable stench throughout the house at this time.
They said they had a blocked drain.
And in answer to your query about her husband's disappearance, how did Mrs. Jordache respond?
She said she hadn't seen him for months.
During this conversation, did Mrs. Jordache display any signs of anxiety?
Not that I can remember.
No indication that she might be in some distress?
No.
So you had no reason to believe that she might be suffering from some abnormality of the mind, from diminished responsibility?
My lord, the witness is a police constable, not a psychiatrist.
My apologies, my lord. I shall rephrase the question. Constable Coburn, as a bobby on the beat, you must have had vast experience of routine calls to members of the public.
I suppose so.
And during this particular call, in your judgment, did Mrs. Jordache's behaviour seem in any way out of the ordinary?
Not really, no.
Could you describe Trevor for us, Miss Jordache?
He was a loving father, husband, and brother.
And I'm the Queen of Sheba.
So,
I don't think we
did
get
you
much
remain
change
close
out
to
of Mother
Trevor during
Teresa.
his spell in prison?
Very. Of course, I didn't condone what he did. But I could see that he was trying his hardest to sort himself out.
In what ways?
Well, in the way that he talked to me about how he understood now what it was that made him so angry. It was all the pressure, you see. But he had got it under control. I think rediscovering his religion helped.
His religion?
Yes. I still practice, but Trevor had been lapsed for years. And suddenly one day I visit him in prison and he's got a rosary in his hands. Couldn't believe it.
And this renewal of your brother's faith led you to the conclusion that he was a changed man?
Very much so. And that was when he started talking about trying to patch things up with Mandy. He said all he wanted was to get back with his family. Nothing else mattered to him.
No, I'm sure it didn't. Now, once you had renewed contact with Mrs. Jordache and the girls, Did you ever come across Thomas Sweeney?
Come across him. Couldn't get away from him.
No.
He hung around like a bad smell. He was always knocking for his water, drinking tea, selling bits and pieces like some old tinker. Any excuse to get near Mandy.
And what did you make of their relationship?
It was obvious to anyone with eyes in their head what was really going on.
And what was that?
Well, he was our fancy man.
And it was after you detected signs of this new relationship that Mrs. Jordache told you that Trevor had left their home, this time apparently for good.
Yes.
And it was at this point that you declared him a missing person.
Yes.
Why?
Because his letters stopped coming.
He used to write to you regularly?
Every fortnight, without fail.
And did anything result from you contacting the police?
Yes. I was led to believe that his dead body had been discovered in a wood in Cheshire.
And what led you to this conclusion?
Because Mandy Jordache had identified a dead body as being his.
And was this the case?
No. I now know it was a complete stranger.
No further questions.
Miss Jordache, I'd like to return, if I may, to the events leading up to your brother's conviction and subsequent prison sentence on the charge of grievous bodily harm.
What did you think of your dad, Rachel?
I loved him.
Did you get on well?
Brilliant.
So how did you feel when he was sent to prison?
Terrible. But I knew what he'd done to my mum was bad too, so...
Did you ever see your dad hit your mum?
No. I'd heard them arguing sometimes, but...
Did you keep in touch with him when he was in jail?
No.
So, how did you feel when your dad turned up again after he got out of jail?
I was made up.
And how did your mum seem?
Nervous. But happy, I think. It was Beth who didn't want him there.
But you did?
Yeah.
Were there any rows with your mum once he'd moved back in?
No. Well, they did have a bit of an argument one night, but that was it.
And did your mum have any more bruises?
No.
So you don't think your dad had started hitting her again?
No. He'd stopped all that.
So you were happy to be back together as a family?
While it lasted.
How long was that?
A couple of weeks.
And then what happened?
Mum told me he'd left.
Did she say why?
No. Just that he didn't want to live with us anymore. And that he'd gone for good.
And how did you feel about that?
It broke my heart.
What about your sister Elizabeth?
Oh, she was made up.
Did she act any differently from this point on?
Yeah, suddenly she was all smiles and pally with me.
Did you hear anything else about your dad?
Not for a while. And then they said the police had found him.
Who did?
Mum and Beth. They said that his body had been discovered in some woods and Mum had identified him.
But none of this was true. So how did you feel when you found out that it wasn't your dad?
I couldn't believe it. My mum had made me go to some tramp's funeral and sat there watching me cry my eyes out for my dad.
While all this was going on, was Thomas Sweeney spending much time at the house?
Sinbad. Yeah, he was there loads.
Sinbad?
That's his nickname.
Ah, thank you, Miss Jordache.
And what was the relationship between Mr. Sweeney and your mum?
He was a boyfriend.
And how long had that been the case?
Virtually since we moved in.
And what did you make of the situation?
At first I thought he was all right. But now I think he's like the other two. He lied the same as they did.
My lord, The witness is making unsubstantiated claims about the character of someone whose evidence is vital to the defense case.
Please disregard Miss Jordash's last comment about Mr. Sweeney.
What happened the week before your dad's body was eventually dug up, Rachel?
We went to Ireland.
Did you know why?
No. They just dragged me along with them.
So when did you actually find out what happened to your dad?
They told me in this bed and breakfast place in Dunleary.
What exactly did they tell you?
That my mum had stabbed him. And they buried him in the back garden.
You must have been devastated.
I couldn't believe it.
Why do you think your mother killed your father, Rachel?
Oh, my lord, my learned friend is blatantly leading.
I don't know. Because they hated him, I suppose, because he'd hit my mum.
Miss Jordash.
And Beth helped because she just hated all
Miss
men.
Jordash, please.
I don't care what he did. They still shouldn't have killed him.
Rachel, must be hard coping with all this upset.
It is, yeah.
Your dad dying, your mum in court, all these questions. It must be hard to know what's the truth anymore and what isn't.
I know who the liars are.
With everything that's happened, do you feel it's up to you to protect your dad's memory?
Someone's got to stick up for him.
That's right. And I'm sure that any loving daughter would feel the same. But you have to remember, Rachel, that this is a courtroom and you're under oath to tell the truth, and that you have to be watching out for the point where protecting someone means lying on their behalf.
But I haven't lied about anything.
I'm not suggesting for one moment you have.
Good, because I haven't.
Right. So, when your dad came back home, did you and he spend a lot of time together?
Loads, yeah.
Did he get on really well with you?
Yeah.
Better sometimes than with Mum or your sister?
I don't know, I suppose so.
Yes. Why was that, do you think?
Well, they were always arguing with him, Beth especially. She didn't want him there from the word go. She never even gave him a chance.
But you did, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
So that when the rows got too much for him, he turned to you.
Yeah,
Did you feel as though you were the only one who'd listen to him?
I was.
And did your father usually wait for Mum and Beth to be out before you had these secret little chats together?
Sometimes. And sometimes he'd just come up to my room while they were cooking tea or something.
What sort of things did you talk about?
Anything. Everything, you know, school and stuff.
What else?
Music, whatever.
What did he talk to you about?
How he felt about Mum. And how he wished everything could be like it was again. And sometimes if he was really upset, he wouldn't say a thing. He'd just sit there, put his arm round me, and cry.
He must have loved you very much to feel he could be so open with you.
He did, and I loved him.
Was he always so affectionate?
How do you mean?
Well, were things different after he came back home than before he went to prison?
I suppose he spent a bit more time with me when he came out. But that's because he needed me.
So he became more affectionate?
Yeah, I suppose so.
How did this affection show itself?
Hugging, tickling my feet, he was always messing around.
And how old were you when he came to the house in Brookside Close?
14.
When he was messing about, was it usually when you and he were alone together?
No. Well, sometimes.
In your bedroom?
Yeah. What's wrong with that?
Nothing at all. Did you sometimes cuddle in your room?
Yeah, I suppose so.
On top of your bed?
Sometimes.
Did you ever get into the bed for a cuddle?
No.
Well, we're going to hear later from your sister Beth that you did because she saw you.
Well, Yeah, there was this one time we were both a bit cold, so we pulled the quilt over us.
And you lay in bed together.
Yeah.
Then what did you do?
Well, we talked for a bit, and then we snuggled up. We must have just fallen asleep.
And nothing else happened?
No, nothing.
I'm sorry to have to ask you these questions, Rachel, but did your father ever hold you in a way that you thought wasn't right for a girl of your age?
What do you mean?
Did he touch you
Touch me?
in an intimate way?
No.
Not here,
No!
nor anywhere else.
No!
Are you sure?
Yes, I am! This isn't fair. I thought it was them on trial, not me.
Miss Jordache, I appreciate how upsetting this whole experience must be for you. But please try to understand that, unfortunately, if your mother and sister are to have a fair trial, you must answer these very difficult questions. Mr. Anderson.
Thank you, my Lord. Rachel, I know that you must be desperate to protect your dad's memory.
I'm not protecting anyone. All I'm doing is telling the truth.
Oh, for God's sake, just leave her alone.
Mrs. Jordache, please. I will not tolerate any further outbursts, whether they're stemming from maternal concerns or otherwise. Mr. Anderson, have you any further questions for this witness?
Just one or two more, my Lord. Rachel, do you understand that it is against the law for a man to engage in sexual activity with his own daughter?
Yes.
And that if such an act took place, and the girl in question were below the age of consent, in the eyes of the law, the father would be seen to have forced her into such activity, and would therefore be guilty of rape.
Yes.
Rachel, did your father force you to have sex with him?
No.
Rachel, remember you are under oath. Please tell the court. Did your father rape you?
No, he didn't.
And you can see day 3 of the Jordache trial tomorrow at the later than usual time of 8:30.